Hi everyone.
How's it going?
Welcome to episode number 22 of
Yep.
Web Analytics
Wow,
TV.
22,
Wow,
yeah.
it's a big double two number.
That's the ninja chop. Boom, there it is.
We had a complaint on YouTube that when we forgot the ninja chop in the last
They
episode.
thought it was a different show, so we had to start with the show so they know it's the ninja chop. Okay.
All right, here we go. Our first question comes from our good friend Michael, Spanish gringo from Barcelona. And Michael, your question was rated very high. Unfortunately, we don't understand it completely. So I'm very embarrassed about this. But you have my email, Michael. So send me an email with more context around your question, because we weren't sure exactly what the setup is. And then Nick and I will look at it, and we'll make sure that we include the answer to your questions in the blog post that will contain this video.
Right.
So just email us, and we'll take care of that.
Great.
So the next question is a more delightful one.
Yeah, it's from our friend June Lee in Toronto.
Hi, June.
How's it going? So Avinash, what is the impact of Google's secure search on match search query term data in Google Analytics? If logged in users click on a paid search ad, will their match search query terms be shown as not provided? If yes, it's bad.
I know I've only taken partial amounts of comments and feedback on this in the last few days. It's been tough. I want to distinguish two interesting things. The first one is that the change for logged in users to google.com being switched from HTTP to HTTPS, and then subsequently only the referrer that the person came to your site from google.com and not the keyword that they used during that session being passed to your website. This entire process only affects organic search.
Okay.
It does not affect paid search in any way. The report that June is specifically talking about is an AdWords report.
Paid search report.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you actually can bid on the word Nick broad match.
Yeah.
And that's the query that you bid on. But the user actually types in Nick rocks a lot.
Of course
And
they do.
what this report shows is both the word you bid on, Nick, and the query that the user typed, which is Nick rocks a lot.
Both of them.
Both of these. And this is a very good report, very important. It is unchanged. It has no impact because of these changes. You'll still be able to do this report, still see all that data. Now, some of you have also tweeted and Google Plused me too, with a number of things related to this particular change. And I have actually created a custom report in Google Analytics that allows you to track the impact of this change on your organic search traffic, and we'll include it in the show notes for this particular video. Click on the link, it will download that report into your Google Analytics account, and you'll be able to analyze what the impact of this change has been starting 2 days ago and going forward very, very easily. It's a simple custom report. Do download it from the show notes, which will be on our blog, analytics.blogspot.com.
Yeah, no, you showed me the report for your data on your blog.
Yes.
And you could actually see what percentage of total visits this affects. That was really interesting.
Exactly. So for me, it was 0.09% of overall visits. But of course, the number will change over time, and the report simply provides you data, and then you can make the appropriate set of decisions at your end. But remember, only affects organic search traffic, only for users who are logged into google.com.
Great.
The next question is all the way from Brighton in UK, from Stepo, and it's for you, Nick. I'm trying to set up a funnel within Google Analytics, but the visualization report shows visits that hit step 3, the final step, as exits from step 2, rather than goal completions. Why is GA, quote unquote, exactly from this thing, misrepresenting the goal completions as an exit from the funnel?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question. So there's just two ways that data gets sent to analytics. One of them is you can send data from the tracking code, and the second way is the way you configure your account, right? Those are the only two things that affect how data is coming out. So in this case, this report works for all our users. Probably what's happening, there's a misconfiguration somewhere in the actual step configuration, and that's leading to these different reports. So I would check with your configuration. If you have more questions, maybe take a look at one of our partners who can analyze and really diagnose what the problem could be.
Exactly. Just look for a Google Analytics certified professional. Another question for you from Nicholas in Sweden. Sweden, Nick. It's late in the day. Actually, the question is, hi, Avinash. It's going to go to you, of course.
Of course.
Can you give me some examples of when to use session-based custom variables instead of event tracking, or should you use both? I love this question.
This is a really good question. Yeah.
Great one, Nicholas.
So the question is, right, the difference between session level, custom variables, and event tracking, right? So event tracking are hit level, page level interactions that people do with your site. So for example, you might view a page, a second page, a third page, and then you might interact with the site and track that interaction, like click a button, track it with an event, right? So you track interactions with events. Custom variables at the session level, custom variables describe things in analytics. So they describe an entire session. So for example, you might be logged in or not logged in. And so you would describe that session as being logged in or not logged in. Within a session, you have multiple interactions like pages and events. So here's a great example. Let's take a look at Amazon.com, right? I might come to Amazon.com and log in, and then view 3 pages, and then click to rate your book. Like you might come and rate your book on how well you're doing. So that interaction of rating could be an event, and you could describe all the pages and events as either logged in using custom variables.
Yeah, so the fact that my state was as a logged in user, that spans the entire session of the visit, to put it more accurately, would be captured as a custom variable.
Right.
And if I want to track specific activity inside that session, then events work really well.
Yeah.
And also, of course, custom variables, as you all know, we do have hit level custom variables, and we have pan session custom variables. So there are different types, and this one just applies to the session level.
Sessions. Good.
Another good one for you, Nick, from Embed in USA. What is the best way to tie an event to a goal? I would like to see if any users watched a video, this is an event, and then filled out a form, this would be a goal. I want to know if my video helped with conversions. That's a very common request.
It's a very common request.
Wonderful request.
Right. So it's they've done an interaction, and later within the session they've converted, and you want to know how many people who interacted actually led to a conversion, right? So the way to set that up is to use advanced segments. You can either create an advanced segment for the number of people who interacted, and then apply that advanced segment to the number of people who viewed that goal page, or you could do the converse. You can say for the number of people who actually converted, create an advanced segment for those people, and apply that to the event report. And then you can analyze like that.
Exactly. So it's the most perfect marriage we can have in analytics, any tool, is that you create an advanced segment of the people or behavior we're interested in, and then apply it to a report where you want to analyze the data. It's this 2-step process, and that's really just the perfect way to do analysis.
Yeah, great. So here's a question for you, Avinash, from Soren Sproge in Denmark.
Hello, Denmark.
When can data in GA be trusted? That's a good question.
No.
When is data collection done? My own study via the API says most data is available after 10 minutes, but some after 20 hours. Transactions, adds cost. And how fast is the web interface updated to reflect this?
So I do admire Soren enormously that he is spending time indexing things against the API to figure out what's happening inside Google Analytics, so bravo. But let me share with you a broader view of data collection and processing. So of course, your JavaScript tag gets executed on any page, mobile, desktop, whatever platform. It sends data back into Google Analytics. And as you know, that we have a set of reports that we call the right now reports. Right now, not 10 minutes from now.
Right, it's real-time
data, 5 minutes.
Right?
It's not even real time. It's right now.
Okay.
Right. So Soren, a batch of data connected to, as you can see in the reports, connected to the geography, the keyword, the visit, the pages viewed, all this you can see right now inside Google Analytics.
Yep.
No delay of any sort. Then there are ancillary sets of data that Google Analytics has to go grab from outside, not from the JavaScript tag, in order to go make some reports work. A good example of it is the AdWords reports, where you've linked your AdWords account to your Google Analytics account, and lots of stuff is happening in AdWords, lots of stuff is Google Analytics. There is a batch process that goes and grabs the data and makes it available to you within a very, very fast time frame that is a little longer than right now. And so the best practice that we recommend is that for this ancillary sets of data, you should give it a day, let it settle down. It's all anyway strategic analysis that you're doing.
Right.
And for all the other data that you need, just use the right now report.
Yep.
So between that, you should have everything you have. And I assure you that it is trustworthy. Is that what the word was?
Yeah, definitely trustworthy.
It's trustworthy.
Yeah, and it's also good to mention the user interface and the API. Both are interfaces into the exact same set of data.
Correct.
So the reports are going to be all updated at the same time.
Fabulous. So a question for you, Nick. And the question is from David in Atlanta, is there a way to represent multiple date ranges in one Google Analytics report? For example, have a conversion data for the past week in one tab / column and previous week in another one for comparison. So the default view we have is under the time date range choosing widget.
Right.
We have a compare to past, and
Right.
you can choose day, week, or month.
Exactly.
But is there something else that we can do to do even better date comparisons, Nick?
Yeah, if you need a better way to, more flexible way to represent your data, we always recommend using the API.
Nick runs the API. It's hardly a surprising answer. I'm kidding.
And in fact, the API requires some code, but there's a lot of people who build tools where you actually don't need to actually do code to use the
Even
product.
I can use it.
You could use it, yeah. One product, Next Analytics, just talk to Ward at Next Analytics. They could help you out, and they could do exactly what you're talking about, where you can have the different dates in the columns, and then all the other dimensions in the rows, and you can compare across the dates like that.
There you go. So, and you'll also find a link to Next Analytics on our GA app gallery.
Yeah.
And we'll link to it as well.
We'll link to all of it.
Yeah. It's a great tool, by the way.
Question for you from Gabby in Romania. What is the best way to track sites that embed our widgets? A widget can be just an image, so no code lines in it.
Yeah, so one good way, Gabby, to solve this problem is that you use the Google Analytics mobile tracking snippets. And that's a fabulous way. It requires no JavaScript in order to collect the data. And it should solve this problem for you. And what we'll do is we'll link to show notes to the GA mobile tracking snippets. So you'll be able to grab it, implement it, dance, be merry and happy.
I want to dance and be merry and happy. Another question for you. This is from Will J in Wisconsin. How can you export greater than 500 records from the latest versions of GA? Using the ampersand limit equals NNN parameter from the old version of analytics no longer works. Are there plans or workaround for a larger available export?
So go Green Bay Packers. Great season, by the way. That's undefeated so far. Okay. Use the API. We'll use the API. And
you can say it with more enthusiasm.
I know. Oh, no. Use the API! Wow. No, the API is actually the most productive way. And not only actually can you, this is the cool thing about it for me, is that a lot of times standard reports contain stuff that you might not need. It's got lots of tabs, all this other crap that you may not need, right? One of the great things about using the API is that it forces me constantly to say, what is it that I really need? And just distill down. It takes a lot of thought, really. It takes me a lot of thought to distill down, okay, well, I just need these 2 pieces of data, and we need by these dimensions. And then I kind of write and say, bring me to 100,000 rows of data. And what the great thing is, I get exactly what I want, not only the garbage that I need. And it's also supremely efficient to do.
Very efficient, yeah.
And I think it's just a great discipline to have for these kinds of requests, to just go use the API. And so we talked about Next Analytics as one of the solutions. There are many solutions, and we'll link to the app gallery so you can learn how to do this.
Just one point. So from the UI, the web interface, you have 500 records. In the API, you can set that limit to 10,000, and then you can paginate. And because it's code, a lot of tools automatically paginate, so you actually get huge things of 100,000s of rows with very little effort.
So last month on my blog, I had 23,900 keywords that were used to get to my blog.
Sure.
And I can't get that through the front end, but I can easily get it through the API.
You can't get it to the front end. It just takes some time because you have to click through each of those 500 rows.
Yeah.
But all these people have built solutions, so you click a button and it does it all for you. It does the clicking next pages for you.
And then we have a question for you, Nick, from Kaz, all the way in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Right.
You go to Las Vegas a lot.
Hey.
Regarding days to purchase, I'm trying to understand days to purchase by medium so that we can optimize the marketing spend. Great guy, by the way. Love that idea. How search may be good at driving conversion 7 days out, whereas display is better 20 days out. How can we do this in Google Analytics? And I think you have a little gift for him.
Yeah. So this is completely possible with analytics.
Yeah.
Go into the custom reporting and create what we call, in the new version, it's called a flat table report. And the 2 dimensions that you want to use is medium and days to transaction. And then for the actual metrics, you can use the total number of transactions and total revenue, and then you get all the data that you're looking for. And what we'll do is we actually have a custom report that we built just before the show. We'll link the custom report so that way you can use in the show notes. Just click that, you'll have that custom report, you can start using it right away.
Exactly. So Dick has a great custom report. Also, as Kaz, you start to think about this long time periods and maybe multiple media channel exposures, one of the things you want to do is look at the new multi-channel funnel reports in Google Analytics. I know that there is one specific report that will give you this kind of thing that you're looking for, very close to it, and allow you to not only see sort of your hypothesis is how many days does search lead to a conversion, but actually if during the time period there were other media channels that were exposed to the same person, you'll get an idea about that very nicely in the multi-channel funnel report. So again, fabulous custom report that Nick just created for you. We're going to share that with you, and also go look at your multi-channel funnel reports.
Fantastic. Question for you here, Avinash, from David in Vancouver, Washington. Can you post the show notes for an example of a GATC modification to properly place more than one UA code on a single page per site? Placing multiple tracking codes on the page is suboptimal and provides skewed data. Correct.
Correct. Congratulations for getting the correct answer.
Yeah.
This is not something that we recommend, modifying the GATC and doing et cetera, because they share the same cookie space, and then data can get very weird. So we do not recommend this. There are people who like to live on the bleeding edge with, with their feet bleeding while they run really, really fast.
Yeah.
And we'll link to some of their solutions in case you want to join them in that parade, if you will, on the edge. But for most people, we do not recommend this. You want to really seriously think about the data you're collecting and what you want to do.
Yep.
But
it does.
anyway.
Yeah, it definitely has implications on the data, and it's important to understand those. So
the shared cookie space and all that.
Exactly. So instead of explaining how cookies work in this program, we'll link to people who've written it. Yeah, great.
So here's a question for you, Nick, from Luke in Cologne, Germany. It's not really about Google Analytics, but we'll take a stab at the answer.
We'll use Google Analytics for the answer.
I'm using custom variables to track different versions of content on a single page, while the server manages what content version to play out using cookies. What are some of the things I should watch out when doing this with A/B testing? So it looks like Luke is doing his own A/B testing,
right.
and his content serving platform is serving out various bits of content.
Right.
That will be different for version A, version B.
Right.
And there are some custom variables going on there.
And a lot of things going on. So when you do A/B testing, you always want to do like a test and a control. And you do those at the visitor level so the visitor's experience is consistent across visits back to the site.
Correct.
So visitor like Avinash will come to the site and see page A, and he continuously will see page A. Visitor Nick will come to the site and see page B, and I keep on seeing page B every time I return to the site. At a period of time, you're going to stop your experiment. It's not an infinite experiment. Correct. So once the experiment stops, you don't want Avinash and Nick to look and seeing these separate things. You want us to become part of the same kind of reporting. Yeah. So because you're only looking at a subset of sessions for each of the visitors, we recommend you track these variations with session-level custom variables. And anytime I come to the site and see B, I will use a session-level custom variable for my version, and you'll see one for your version. That way you can use advanced segments in the report to get data broken out. And what's great about that is once the experiment ends, the custom variables don't persist with us for the lifetime. You're not setting them anymore. So that's the best way to do it, custom level session variables.
Yes. And if you need more help, always reach out to a Google Analytics certified professional.
They can explain, yeah, definitely. All right, question for you from Vester in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Hello, Argentina. Buenos dias, Nick and Avinash.
Buenos dias.
Buenos tardes over here.
Oh, there you go.
Will ever in analytics, e-commerce tracking support multi-currency tracking? What's the best practice to do this today?
So Buster, actually, there is a delightful solution called Analytics Canvas, and there are a number of other ones as well. But reach out to James at Analytics Canvas, and they have a wonderful solution that will allow you to solve this problem in very effective ways. Also, we've got multinational hotels like the Fremont Hotels that has done
Fairmont Hotels.
Darn it.
It's all right.
It's late in the day.
It's late in the day.
Fairmont Hotel, and I'm a member of their frequent stare clubs. I should know this. But anyway, and we're going to publish a case study with them, and you'll see how they're using Google Analytics across multiple currencies to do some incredibly delightful things. So reach out to James at analyticscanvas.com, and they'll help you out with this. It's wonderful that they do this.
Great. It's good to have solutions. Question for you, Avinash, from Anshul in New Delhi, India. Hello, sirs. Can I segment my data according to serious visitors on my site, not jokers? These serious visitors may be people who do more page views and spend more time on the site, or any other good parameter. And how do I see these visitors perform? And can I see them in advanced segments? But I can't see them in unique visitor values. Yeah.
So Anshul, it's a good question, really. I think that it is too silly to look at your data in aggregate. It's also silly, actually, just to look at new and returning. I think it's a lame segment. And so what you want to do is you're trying to create some kind of loyalty engagement segments. And so using time, using number of pages, using number of visits to your site are all really great ways to track what you call serious visitors. And you want to break the process into 2 different steps. The first step is to actually create the segment. So go into advanced segmentation, create a segment for people who have seen more than 5 pages in a session, or who have visited my site more than 10 times, or whatever segment you want. And then the thing you want to do is go apply that to a report where you can analyze the data that you're looking for, by keywords, by countries, by pages, whatever you want to do. Now, one thing that you asked about that will not be in many standard reports is unique visitor as a metric. Unique visitor as a metric is available in pretty much across all dimensions, but you're going to have to go into a custom report in order to see it. So 2 steps for you, Anshul. First, create your advanced segment that captures your serious visitor behavior. Second, create a custom report for any dimension you're interested in, keyword, content, pages, countries, whatever, and choose your own metrics that you want. So in your case, it would be at least unique visitors, and then perhaps visits and bounce rates and goal completions, conversion rates, etc. And that way you can solve your problem easily. This entire thing will take you less than 5 minutes to do.
I think you kind of bring up a larger point. Like when we see more advanced users of the product really getting the most value, the flow they usually use is create an advanced segment and apply it to a custom report. So if you're not doing that, you should definitely explore that power of the product, because you're going to get a lot more value out of the data.
Exactly. And actually, in the show notes, Nick, let's link to a blog post I wrote last month. It uses one custom report, what I call the page efficiency analysis report, on top of a segment. And so it actually shows you exactly step-by-step how to do this. So we'll link out to that one as well.
Perfect. Sounds great.
A question for you, Nick, from DJ in London. I'll be there in 4 days. The click-to-call feature on a mobile-optimized homepage registers as a bounce if the visitor comes straight to the site and then goes to click-to-call feature. Is there a way to measure this distinct path to action rather than a bounce? Oh yeah, trivial, quite easy.
Yeah, measure the interaction with the actual button as an event. And then you can get all the event reporting. You can put in a custom variable and get unique visitors.
Oh my God.
You can do a lot of fun
custom
things.
Reports, yeah. And it is important to remember when you think about bounce rate, technically speaking, looks for a session with just one hit. Literally, it looks for a hit. And a hit can be an event, a custom variable, a page view, anything like that. Yeah. So in your case, what's happening is there is one page view event hit occurring, and then nothing else. When you add the event, there will be 2 hits occurring. You can track that the click happened really on your site in Google Analytics.
Sure.
That somebody clicked on the button to call on the phone. You'll track in GA. Also, it won't register as a bounce.
Right.
Win-win.
I would set it up, so you track a page view when the person gets there. So you get the impressions.
Exactly.
And you track the button as the click, and you get the click-through rate.
Happy birthday everywhere.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good one.
All the way from Estonia, Helena asks a question for you, Nick. It might be our first question from Estonia.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful country. What's the best plus the most time efficient way to export data into a format for a company branded presentation, likely a PowerPoint presentation, go Microsoft, that includes impressive graphs and detailed insights?
Yeah, so
I use PowerPoint a lot. What can you do?
Yeah. The most time efficient way for you is to get somebody else to do your work. No, I'm just saying in general. That way you spend 0 time, right? I mean, it costs money, but that's not part of the anyway. So you can pull out data through the product and export it. Usually we tell people to use the API when you want to do these type of custom things. What's nice is there is actual PowerPoint API integration provided by ShufflePoint. You just go to shufflepoint.com, talk to Chris. He'll help you out and set it up. And it's definitely a product you can take a look at. We'll send a link. It's definitely a way to do it.
There you go. So we're outing all our friends today.
Today we are, yes.
Another one for you, all the way from Detroit in Michigan. Scott M. asks, what is a good way to allow tracking cross-sells or upsells of products that appear on a product page? Using event tracking is an option, i.e., _track event impression, upsell, product name views, but is there a way that wouldn't require this? Nick, before you answer the question, basically, cross-sells and upsells are like if you go to Amazon to look at the page for, let's say, Web Analytics 2.0 My Book, and what you will see is underneath there's a strip that also recommends to you Brian Clifton's book and other books, and those are all considered as cross-sells and upsells. So there's a My Book that is being, the product page of My Book, but then also Brian's book and other books. So what is the best way to track? Is the way Scott suggested optimal?
Yeah, I would recommend it. So let's talk about your scenario. We'll talk about what we recommend. So you come to Avinash's page, and it's selling a particular product. You come to a page that's selling a particular product. The first thing we want to do is identify what product's on that page. The best way to do that is to use the SKU for the product and pass the SKU as a parameter in the track page view method. So now we know for a particular page what's the real product that's being sold, right? First thing. Second thing is you have all the recommended books, like Justin's and Brian's book at the bottom. The idea is when somebody clicks on one of those books, you can track the clicking of those books as an interaction and as a track event. And then one of the parameters in the event tracking you want to do is also the SKU of the product you're clicking on.
I see.
And so it's nice, as well as you can also pass in the SKU of the page which the product was on. So that way you can then, using the API or exporting to Excel from the product, you can tie back the views of a page as well as tie back to what links were clicked and using the SKUs to tie it back to the page.
Right. So you will be able to track not only whether cross-sells and upsells are the reason that Brian or Justin's book are being sold a lot, but then you can also track that is happening because of those cross-sells and upsells existing on my book's page.
Right.
So both of those very valuable pieces of information you'll be able to track. So that's fabulous, Nick.
Yeah. Definitely a really good one. Okay, so question for you here for Joanne in Melbourne. Is it possible with page view tracking to report the actual URL as well as the track page path in cases where the optional page URL parameter is used? For example, a page, article 123, tracked as /articles, but both URLs tracked in GA as a single page view.
Yeah, so you can only, one of the cardinal rules is you can only use one ID per page. And so the thing you're describing, Johan, cannot be done. You can track one of these two things, and you can choose which one to track.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This is a question, I think, for you here, Avinash.
Oh, there you go.
This is another question from David in Vancouver, Washington. If a single page visit cannot produce a time on site number due to no following page visit to calculate time on previous page, then how come a single page website still shows time on site metrics?
Yeah, so I'm glad actually we talked about how a Google Analytics computes time bounces earlier.
Yeah.
Because the way that it computes it is that it looks at the hits within a session. So David, one very simple scenario that could be happening in your case is that it's a single page website. There's nothing else, just one page. But if I come and view the page, and then for some reason, a few minutes later or immediately or after a few times, whatever, I just reload the page. And now the session has 2 hits.
2 hits.
And because it has 2 hits, it can compute time. Or I come to your page, and suddenly Nick sends me a link, and I just type it into this because Nick disturbs me on IM. And I type the URL, I go see the page Nick was trying to send me to, and then I hit the back button after 1 minute because Nick's page was boring. And I come back using the back button. It reloads that page in the same session. 2 hits again.
2 hits.
So most of the time when you see time recorded for single page websites, it's these kinds of activities, the back button, the reloads, or maybe if like in the earlier scenario, on that one page you have a video, and the video you're capturing using events, boom, again a hit.
Yeah.
It's these things that end up recording time for some of the sessions, because most people will just see a page and go away. But for some of the sessions, these things are happening, and that's how time gets recorded.
On my site, people usually see a page and stay a long time. They don't just go away. But maybe on yours, they just want to, okay.
All right, here's...
this is from, this is for you, from Mvarga Osijek
in Croatia.
Yeah. I hope I didn't mess up your last name. Okay, so hi, Avinash and Nick. Hello. The goal reverse path report shows very clear the first and last link that was present in the goal path. How do you find the link in all goal paths for a goal that assisted most goals, but is not necessary for the first or last? I don't know.
You know, this is one of the reasons I don't like the reverse goal path report.
But you know what's nice?
Never have, never will.
But
but here's the great news.
Yeah.
Yesterday, day before yesterday in San Francisco, we announced a new set of reports called Flow reports in Google Analytics. And I'm particularly pleased with these reports because I know, Marva, you've got both of my books. And as you notice, in both of the books, I've consistently said path analysis is a waste of time. And given many reasons why it is such a profound waste of time. And reverse goal path is nothing but path analysis. The new flow reports have 2 sets of reports. And the second one, the goal reports, are just absolutely gorgeous in terms of the information they do. And these reports were created specifically so that people can use and understand how people are flowing through the website rather than looking at it from path view. So go check that report out. At the moment, the reports are slowly rolling out across the world. I believe that 2 days ago, officially we said that the reports would be available to everyone in a couple of weeks. So by the time this video posts, it will be imminently at your doorstep or there already if you were in the rollout period. But check out the flow reports. Abandon the reverse funnel visualization.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that.
Just 2 funnels. I'm kidding. Wow. All right, here we go. Here we go, Nick. We're all the way from
passion.
Let's just lay it out there. From Georgine. I apologize. In Dover. Our site search is sending a tracking code by creating an artificial URL, example search.html $query equal my term. But doing this also adds a lot of false page views. My question is, if I filter out those URLs, will I still get the terms in the site search report? So I think that it's a question of when to filter out the data. Because if you do profile level filters, this disappears.
Yeah, there's a lot of filtering going on in the product. It's also like, what filters are we talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. So you do not want to use profile level filters because they'll remove that hit, and we won't be able to process that. So what you want to do is you want to send it to a different. So this is what we're looking at on Avinash's site. You actually want to send it maybe to a different directory that's really distinguishable from all the other pages on your site, and you want to pass in the search term as a query parameter, just like you're doing. And you'll actually apply the internal site search query parameter. And what you'll get in the report is actually all this newly created location for all these search terms. In the actual reports themselves, there's a report filter, and you want to actually exclude that page from the report filter, and then magic will happen. You'll get the data. It won't pollute all the other page views. So you do not use profile level filters. Use these report filters, and it will work.
And the other thing is that this question brings up a really good point in the sense of the mental model that we sometimes bring to analytics. So for example, if your website gets, let's say, I got like 120,000 visits last month. And I am creating fake page views for certain things. And the total, as we were just looking in my account, is about 800 fake page views for 100-something thousand visits and 250, 300,000 page views. Now 800 is an inconsequential number. Now if that number had been 80,000, I might worry about it. With 800, who cares? So when you make these kinds of decisions before you put in this extra amount of work, actually, it's highly likely that not a lot of people are doing internal site search on your website. Let's say it's 4, 5, 6, 7%, right? And so that you're creating those page views. Just make this judgment call. Is it worth doing all this work? And maybe it's not. But just constantly iterate and understand this so that you can focus your energy on things that are more important and not on the ones that are less important. But if you want to do it, like in my scenario, I put all those fake pages in one directory. I can do something with it if I want to. So that works really well.
Sounds good.
Our last question is from a country I used to live in, Saudi Arabia. And it's from Fox963.
That's it.
A spam submission.
Spam submission in capital letters.
All caps. And the question, I can't help but ask you this spam question.
Yeah. That's good.
How can you get fast traffic for your sites?
Yes, fast traffic. You can get the fast traffic in the reports. It's so fast, you can get these reports right now. And then you can get the data in real time. Great question.
And then use that to get more fast traffic.
Yeah.
All right, we've had too much fun in this episode, but we hope you had fun. Before we go, we have one important thing to do.
The ninja of the episode.
The ninja of the episode. And Nick has chosen Nicholas from Sweden for his question related to session-based custom variables instead of event tracking. It was a fabulous question.
Really good,
really got to the root of an important problem. So Nicholas, go to my blog. My email address is there. Just email me your address, and we'll send you an autographed copy of Webanalytics 2.0. Thank you very much for your question. And the rest of you, there's a link on the top left of this video that you can click to submit questions for our future episode. Or just go to the moderator page and rate the questions that your peers have submitted so we know which ones are the most important to answer. But thank you very much for watching Webanalytics TV. Bye.
See you.